Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My passion is inventors. When Teresa and I met, it was love at first sight. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to come down. And you'll hear my story in a minute. But very informal. Obviously, I have a presentation. If you have questions as we're going, you can interrupt me. I'm not, it's fine. I'd love to as we're doing stuff. But the whole point about everything that I do is to help you guys stand out in the crowd. It's a crazy, crazy, noisy world out there, and I've done some crazy things to stand out in the crowd, and I hope that by the time you guys leave here, you'll be inspired to maybe just do one thing that can make you stand out and make people find out about your product or your service or your business. So when it comes to PR and marketing, how many of you feel like this? Right? What am I going to do? And I meet so many people like this, so I'm going to try to make it really easy for you tonight. Has anybody ever paid for advertising for anything? You paid for advertising. Anybody hire a publicist? I like to call those big fat checks for hope, because there's no guarantee, right? You hire a publicist, they're like, you just keep writing a check. We hope we can get something for you. But if you do this stuff yourself, say this is the magic pill. You learn to do it yourself. No one is as passionate about your business as you are. And I will tell you, I had people invest in my business. I got in publications I never should have gotten in because people said I was so crazy passionate about what I did. I always joke that I could get anyone to drink the Kool-Aid. So I'll tell you a little bit about me quickly before we get started. I'm actually a native Washingtonian. Any others in the room? There aren't many of us, but yay. So I grew up in Vienna. I went to Virginia Tech. I'm a Hokie, and I now live out in Gainesville. I serve on the marketing board of Virginia Tech, which is really cool and really fun. I meet some great people and do some really fun things. And I'm going to talk in a minute about my product and what I had done. But I did my own PR, became a DIY PR maven. I invented a product, and I couldn't afford a publicist. I couldn't afford advertising, and I had a warehouse out in Orange County full of product that I had to sell. So I'll tell you quickly, this is my product. So I broke my foot. I was going to New York, fashion capital of the world, and I was in a boot. And I'm like, the whole way on the train, I'm like, medical boot fashions, medical boot accessories, and there was nothing. So the light bulbs went off, and my poor husband, because this is now my 5th and 6th business, is like, oh gosh, here we go again. But when I came back, I did all the research, and there were 4 million people a year put in these medical boots. So I taught myself DIY PR. In my first year of business, I appeared in over 50 media outlets. I'll go back for a second. To date, I've been in over 250. I've written a best-selling book on the topic, which I have here. I hear it's a real good page turner. But most importantly, I've generated with people that I've worked with over 7 figures in sales from free publicity. And that's the most important thing. You're not like, okay, great, I'm on TV, or I'm in a magazine. But what you want to do is you want customers to find you, you want to generate sales. So just quickly, I want to show you some of the things that I've done. These are some of the media outlets I've been in, print media outlets, Washington Post, Forbes, Success. I'll tell you, I was in Forbes 2 months ago where they highlighted both of my businesses. My book went back to bestseller. I sold, I can't tell you how many medical boot products. So the stuff I'm going to show you guys tonight, it really works, and it's really successful, and it will make you money. I've been on the Dr. Oz show locally, since we're local. I've been on NBC, I've been on ABC, and this is really, really important, the next ones. I have been on Fox 5 times in 3 years for medical boot accessories. So don't think it has to be a one and done, it's just how creative can you be. So this was the first time I was on for, and this really exists, National Healthy Foot Month. Pitched that, and they loved it.
What month is that?
That's April.
Thank you.
It's coming. Then they did a series on the next great thing. This was a 30-minute special that was syndicated in 30 markets, which was amazing. This was another entrepreneur story. We were talking about PR and marketing and business plans, just a segment on dressing up medical boots. And this was just a couple months ago. Laura Evans, who I got to know well from doing some segments with her, told Maureen, who had broken her ankle and was in a boot, she said, oh my gosh, you have to have Christina come in on the morning show. She'll decorate your boot. Guys, this was a 6-minute segment. 6 minutes. It was unbelievable. And not only did I get sales, and do I have a new raving fan who tweeted about it, and we'll talk about social media in a little bit. But don't think that just because you've done something once, you can't do it again. You've got to think outside of the box, get creative, and we're going to talk more about that later. Briefly, I've been on television all over the country. These are some of my favorites. So I am a mom of teenagers. And I knew that Demi Lovato was in a boot, reached out to her publicist, and I've got the kids in the car, I'm driving to hockey practice, and my Bluetooth comes up and it's a 323 number, which is LA. I'm always very aware of 323 or 212, which is New York, because it could be somebody important. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. So all the kids are in the car, and I answer the phone on Bluetooth, and she says, hi, this is Megan, Demi Lovato's assistant. And the kids were like, oh! So I'm like, for a split second, I was the cool mom. Lasted about 2 seconds. Diana Ross wore my product, and this actually changed my everything. Because all the people who thought I was crazy, all the orthopedic practices who thought, what do you mean you're putting flowers on medical boots? Well, when Diana Ross wears your product, guess what? It's a whole new level of credibility. And because of all the stuff that I have done, I have given myself quite a bit of credibility. And this is very cool. This is in January. I got to interview Hoda Kotb for an hour. Now, Hoda's not going to let just anybody interview her. I had the credibility to back it up. This was, besides being really fun, but it was amazing. Anyone in this room can do anything that I've done. All right, who here thinks that their product, their business, their service is the best thing there is? Okay. Okay, guys, every hand should be up, and by the end it is. Because if you don't think it's the best thing, how can you convince anybody else, right? It's a mindset. You've got to believe you've got the greatest thing going. So here's an example. Everyone know what this is? Girdle, right? Our moms wore the girdles, grandmothers wore girdles. Sarah Blakely took our grandmother's girdle and created a billion-dollar industry by making the girdle sexy. It's pretty much all she did, right? Who knows what this is? Blender. And, oh, do you know what? I need sound. Will it go through? Is it going to work? Okay. So nothing sexy, fun, exciting about a blender, right? So if you own a blender company, how are you going to market it? Thinking about this, right? Oh, you know this. Okay.
Will it blend? That is the question.
So somebody knew this campaign, but do you know what that cost them to do when they started the Will It Blend? $50. $50. They're one of the most watched videos on YouTube. Do you know what it did for the blender business? Increased it 700%. $50 campaign. So again, somebody got creative, somebody figured something fun out. So I just want you guys to start having this creative brain. Okay, who knows what this is? It's not the Snuggie, it's the Slanket. And the Slanket came first. But the Snuggie people were marketers. They came first, they were out there. It's all about marketing. It's all about guerrilla marketing. And this, I'm going to show a lot of examples, but you've got to be different. It's such a noisy world with social media, and I don't know about you guys, I could some days get 500 to 1,000 emails. So you've got to stand out with your product, your service, or your brand. Anyone know Seth Godin? Do you follow him? Fabulous. If you don't, follow him. It's about getting out of this thing of fitting in and shifting gears to being the one that stands out. And he's all about being remarkable, worthy of being or likely to be noticed, especially as being uncommon or extraordinary. So that's what all of this is about, thinking outside of the box, being the one who's different, the one that gets noticed. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple crazy things that I did along the way, which have just really helped explode my business. So I don't know if you guys remember the Summer Olympics when Jordan Weber broke her foot. It was in the boot. I put it out on Facebook. Anybody know Jordan Weber? Would you believe that somebody I know in Michigan knows her doctor? Just like that. So we were able to get her product and she wore it. I told you about the Demi Lovato story. Same thing, I put it on Facebook. A girl I went to junior high school with, her aunt is Demi Lovato's mom's best friend in Texas. I can't make this up. That's 6 degrees of separation. Don't be afraid to put the ask out there. You never know. I'd say it's not who you know, it's who you know who they that can help you with this. And everybody's willing to help you. I mean, really, unless you're you know, committing a crime, just ask. The worst anyone's going to say is no. That Hodakotpi event, I put it together for Virginia Tech, and I asked if I could be the one to interview her. And I sent them my credentials, and they said absolutely. But had I not asked, I never would have had that opportunity. So Diana Ross, and I joke, I have Google alerts set for celebrity broken foot. I really do. Kind of a celebrity ambulance chaser, but it works. It works because this picture came up on my computer and everyone's like, well, how did you get Diana Ross to wear your product? And there she is. She sang for the president. I called her publicist. I Googled it. Like, there's this amazing resource, guys. Google, it's a question engine. Who is Diana Ross's publicist? Now, I'll tell you, the key when you do something like this is you've got to get through the gatekeeper, that person who answers the phone, because if you can't get past them, you're not getting past anybody. So, but I have something that she might have liked. So sure enough, I get past the gatekeeper, I get to her publicist, I send him the email, and he sends it back, and he said, oh, I forwarded this on to Miss Ross. We'll get back to you. Sure you did. I'm thinking, okay. He's like, just hush. 2 hours later, I get the email from him that says, she loves your product, she'd love to have it. I knew from my research that she was still going to sing for the president. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in Washington, D.C. So I went down to the Ritz-Carlton in Georgetown. I met with her costume designer. Ended up spending like 2 hours there with her. By the time we left, it was like big hugs. But she wore my product. So this is, I was able to take that back to all those people that thought I was crazy, and they started carrying my product. Because as soon as I had this credibility of a huge celebrity, Diana Ross, wearing it, they wanted to sell the product. So then I went back to Steve Harvey. I thought, you never know. I said, hey, guess what? Diana Ross wore my product. So, and I hope we can hear this, but this is what Steve Harvey did.
Miss Ross got hold to one of Christina's boots and started rocking it. So if the one and only diva, the diva of divas, Miss Diana Ross, can rock it, then you know it's got to be good. Look.
That is $1 million endorsement right there. What would somebody pay? And all I did was ask. I sent one email. This was actually almost a 4-minute segment. Again, Emmy Award winning Steve Harvey. I can't tell you how much money I've made. Thank you, Steve Harvey. Because I had reruns too. You know, it's syndicated. I had people ordering at 3 in the morning saying, oh, I'm nursing my baby and I've got a broken foot. And the Steve Harvey show came on, so I ordered your product. Anyone see me on the Today Show a few weeks ago? That was me.
Wow.
Yeah. So Savannah Guthrie is in a boot, and I'm trying to get stuff to her. It's sweeps, February sweeps, which is the hardest time to get on television, and certainly for the #1 morning show. So they're not going to promote a product. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. So I made this poster. I superimposed my product over her boot. Cost me $20. I went to Staples. Note to everyone here, if you go to New York in winter, don't bring a 4-foot paper poster because the wind is like flapping everywhere. But so we got there, I had my boot, I had the poster, and they came up to me and they said, we can't do anything. We can't show you on TV. We have all these rules against products. There's nothing. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, when I first got there, it was, again, the sky's open. There's nobody at the glass around. It's about 10 minutes to 7. If you've ever been, you know, they've got the back to you at Rockefeller Center. And I hold my poster up on the glass, and the guy who's miking, Savannah, he's like, oh, that's cool. And I'm mouthing all this through the glass. I'm like, show her, show her. So she turns around. She's like, oh, my God, I love it. I'm like, I have a bag for you. I'm out here. So then I go out there and they tell me they can't do anything. I'm like, no, 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 but Savannah loves it. She's coming to see me in a minute. And the show starts at 7 and they pan and they stop. And they pan and they stop. And I don't know what happened. Again, it's just a mindset. I have no idea. But at about 7:10, they said, we're going to start featuring you. Every time we come on the air, we're going to show your poster. We need you excited. Hold your boot up. Scream and yell. I was like, what? And they had said to me, if Savannah does come to you, you can't say the name of your business. We have really strict rules. You can't. So I'm like, okay. Well, then the guy comes from Today's Show Sirius and he's like, can we interview you? Okay. So I go through my 1.5-minute interview, and at the end he says, so if anybody wants to buy this, where should they go? I'm like, is this a trick question? Like, you just said I can't say anything. So I said it. So I figured, and then Savannah came over, she took the picture. And the funny thing is, she said to me, we just gave you a ton of airtime. I hope this does wonders for your business. Oh, which was very cool. Like, she got it. She knew. So I calculated out. I had 49 seconds of airtime, #1 rated show. I had 7 million eyes on my product. And then the radio, the Sirius Today show ran all day. All day. I can't tell you how much I sold. I got over $100,000 of free publicity. And my whole trip cost me $200. The poster was $20. I bought a $40 bus ticket, and I went on hotels.com and got a 4-star hotel for $99. So was that worth it for me? Absolutely, without a doubt. So don't be afraid to do things like that. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And again, it broke every rule. I don't know why. Somebody was looking out for me, but these things happen. If you believe they happen and you try it, and what was the worst that was going to happen? My sales were the same they were the day before, and I'm out $200. So I answered a query in August that said, do you have a product you want to take to the next level, parentheses, national television? So I responded, and I didn't hear anything. So in October, I get an email from the Steve Harvey show that says, we got your query back in August. We need a video by 10 a.m. I'm like, what? You need a video by 10? I can't do a video by 10. And I told someone here the story. I'd applied for Shark Tank. This was back in April before I was on the Steve Harvey show. And they loved me. And I got through the producers, and I got through Mark Burnett, and then I got to ABC, Sony, and they turned me down. Because in season 1, somebody had a product for regular boots, and they thought it was too similar. And I cried for an entire weekend. But when one door closes, another one opens. I was on the Steve Harvey show. I won the inventors competition. I won $20,000 when I was at rock bottom and didn't know how I was going to pay the bills in December. And it was amazing. But so contests are such a great thing for products. And when something like Shark Tank doesn't work out, I didn't have to give up any of my company. And that got me through that bump and got me to the next level, and it's just been amazing ever since. And here's another one that I applied for and I won, Entrepreneurial Rule Breaker of the Year, right? I'm breaking all the rules with medical boots. But this was so cool. Well, obviously got press coverage, but they had big sponsors like Skype and Nextiva. And when you have big sponsors like that, those big sponsors are pushing your name out there and telling the world about you, which is great. But the other thing is, even the shows like Today's Show and Steve Harvey, they're not going to be your megaphone. You have to be your own megaphone. Even if you get on a segment on the Today Show, they're not going to give you the SEO. They're not going to put your stuff on there. It's up to you to tell the world. So what do you think is the best way to do that? Social media. Everybody on social media? This is a part where, everyone's like, right? And I actually do a presentation that says, stop marketing like it's 1999. It's 2016. This is a cash cow. My business partner that I do a lot of stuff with, she's a social media strategist. She gets $20,000 clients from Twitter. Right? Doesn't that sound great? And if you're not on, and I just want you to see this, the total population of the world is 7.2 billion people. Active social media accounts are 2.078 billion. Wouldn't you like to get in front of some of those 2 billion people? Best way to do it is Facebook. But you have to think of Facebook not as in, oh, what are my friends doing? What are my college roommates doing? What are my kids doing? Think of it from a business perspective. Do you guys know you can run a Facebook ad so targeted? Say you invent a snowboard, and it's a high-end snowboard. You can target Facebook ads to boys or young men aged 18 to 35 with a household income of over $500,000 who like snowboarding and skiing. That targeted. You cannot do that anywhere else except for Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn is another one. I hope everybody has a great profile. Your picture is not at happy hour or with your kids on the beach. This is a business networking platform. Facebook is fine for that. But seriously, LinkedIn is a gold mine for business. You can find buyers on LinkedIn. I found a business partner on LinkedIn. So, and if you don't believe social media works, and I know we're in an election year, and all political feelings aside, Barack Obama won in 2008 from social media. By the end of his campaign, he had 50 million YouTube views, and he had 2.5 million people who liked him on Facebook. And I don't know the exact statistic, but I think it's like 70% of donors were less than $100. They all came from social media. So learn the power of social media. And more importantly, in the coming year, it's live streaming. you guys know what Periscope is and Blab is? I'm sorry?
Twitch.
Oh, there's a new one for me. I'm just breaking into the Periscope stuff. But that's, and certainly if you're marketing anything towards millennials, you have to be. That's how they get their information, is YouTube, and it's video. That's how they want to learn, so you've got to gear it towards them.
Obama did create a character, it was very popular, Second Life. He created a character that was one of his, how he stand out from competitors. He actually developed characters in the Second Life.
Interesting.
To support his campaign.
Wow.
Towards the younger population.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Can you repeat that?
She was saying that for his second campaign, he geared more towards the younger generation by using the social media. And, you know, those 18-year-olds can give $25, $50, but that adds up very quickly. But the most important thing you guys have to do is share what you do. Share, comment. I don't have time to get into the whole workshop about how you connect with journalists on Twitter, but that's the easiest way to start and get this warm relationship going with them, is tell them you love their article. Share it with your audience. That's how you get that going. So then when you do a pitch to that journalist, they're like, oh, that's Christina again. Like, she's been doing all this stuff with me, and yeah, maybe I should talk to her. Websites. I hope that everybody has a current website. I know right away if a website's built in the 90s or the 2000s. This is your #1 touch, whether it's a journalist, whether it's a customer. Go look at your website and think if you would buy from that. This is worth your investment. And more importantly, every website needs to be mobile compatible so that when you look at it on an iPad or an iPhone or a cell phone, the end of this year, 67% of all web visits on a mobile device. 67%. And let me tell you, when things update on your website, sometimes it knocks out your mobile compatibility, which I'm going through right now. So make sure you always check your stuff on your phone and make sure it's working. Okay, I'm going to go a little fast. So now publicity, which is my favorite part. The definition is notice or attention given to someone or something by the media. So that's somebody else telling the world how great you are. But it's really important to know what publicity is not. It's not advertising. Advertising you pay for. Advertising is your message that you want people to hear about. It's not sales presentations. Again, you are selling something in a sales presentation. And it's not marketing. Marketing is what we push out to the world. That's what I'm telling you. You want to market your stuff out there in social media and digital media and email marketing. And because it's none of those, it's more trusted. So when you're written up in the media, people are more likely to believe in you and believe in your product, service, or brand. Again, you know I love Shark Tank because I applied. But Barbara Corcoran said, if you can steal the limelight, you'll steal the market share. The great thing about publicity is it's free. Right? We don't have to pay for it. And it's what they call earned media, because it's somebody else telling the world how great you are. It's not advertising. It's not you telling the world how great you are. It's somebody else. It gives you credibility. And I hope we can hear this next clip. My kids were watching the Lego movie, and there's this clip out of it, but it's just so perfect to explain the power of press.
Hey, everybody. You don't know me, but I'm on TV, so you can trust me.
So the world is ending, and she says, hey, everybody, you don't know me, but you can trust me because I'm on TV. So when people see you in the media, you instantly become more trustworthy. And I love to use this example, Joe's Pizza, right? We all have Joe's Pizza. Certainly in Arlington, I know we do out by us. So let's say you're flipping through your local paper, and you see an ad that you know is an ad, Joe's Pizza, best pizza outside in New York City. Okay, then you flip a few more pages, and there's an article that says hidden pizza gem on Main Street, and you read the article, and the person who wrote it came from Brooklyn 3 years ago and hasn't had anything like New York pizza since he left the city. Which one are you going to believe? Which one's going to make you want to go try that pizza? The article, right? So that's the power of it. So imagine what logos like this would mean on your website. How much credibility would that give you, right? So I like to do this test. How many of you would hire this gentleman as your financial planner? Right? Why not? Little disheveled, look like he just came in from last night. But would you hire this one as your financial planner? No. There are actually studies that have been done that show the credibility of those media logos, and that he is much more likely to get hired here than he is in the other picture. Okay, so Richard Branson, billionaire, right? Billionaire. He said, publicity is absolutely critical. A good PR story is infinitely more effective than a full-page ad. This guy can pay millions of dollars on advertising, and he does, but he sees the value of what publicity can do over that advertising. Oh, I don't know why that's in there. Oh, sorry. So real quickly, this is my formula for PR success. You need to be newsworthy, you need to be able to create a great hook, and you need to find the right journalist. And if you have those three in place, you have first of all, a much higher success rate than your competitors, because nobody knows how to do this. But these are kind of the three things that you need to get publicity. And if you guys want to text the word inventor to 33444, I have a whole sheet of PR tips in there, and my colleague who was a buyer at Target has something in there about the 3 things you need to do to get in front of buyers. Like, what are they looking for? And I will tell you, one of the things is publicity. So basically, we want to help you be a rock star in your industry. And now let me ask you again. Who has the best product in their industry? Everybody, yay!